Ooh, we didn't test the microphone, did we? Oh dear. I gotta get this one going too. Hello, this is a test.
Hello, this is a test.
Oh, okay, well, I'm coming. All right. So, I'm gonna wait a few minutes actually. We're gonna wait a few minutes. So, shout out to everybody. You're here. You made it. You're in the universe, or whatever you want to call this. And today, we're talking about the wonderful topic of symbolic literacy. Normally, when we talk about literacy, I got another thing going on here, so if you see me looking off to the side, well, actually, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter if I'm looking off to the side. You just got to listen. That's all you got to do. You don't have to look at me. You can just have this going in the background and listen to my soothing occult voice. So, but yeah, I'm doing an Instagram live and a Facebook live and a YouTube live. Yeah, we're doing it, folks. We're doing it. We're getting this, we're getting this knowledge out here in all the ways. And I was going to do this last night, actually, about a different topic, but I was like all ready to go. Then I was like, I don't really feel like doing this right now. So here I am doing it right now. So thanks for tuning in or not tuning in, but if you're watching this in the past, go for it. So it's about symbolic literacy, right? Being literate of symbols. The reason it's Symbolic Literacy 103 is because I'm assuming you know what a symbol is. So, because I was like, should it be 101? I was like, well, if you don't know what a symbol is, I don't know. Get back to me when you know what a symbol is. So this is assumed you know what a symbol is, but I want to talk about it in the different ways of what a symbol can be and yada, yada, yada. So, yeah. And also, if anyone wants to throw on any symbols, I can look them up and read them if you got any good symbols. Because I'm going to go through a few books that I got recently. I ordered mad books specifically about symbols. Some I had heard about, some I had not heard about. And there's this dude on Instagram that I follow, like Symbolic Studies, I believe is his name. And he had a hexalpha. I don't know if that's going to be in there, but we're going to look it up because I don't know what that symbol is, but I'm interested to see what these dictionaries yield. So yeah, he had a few posts about the symbolic, books he recommends. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy some of these. And then when I researched them a couple weeks ago to buy them, I was like, yeah, I'll get a few, but they're all like $4. Like there was a few, like I got about 8 books. Technically I got 8 books, but 7 of them were about symbols. One was by an author, Barbara Walker, who had another book that I was like, oh, I have to get this book too. Because she has a book about specifically symbols, but then the other book, it's essentially about symbols, but it's more about myth and secrets. That's the name of it, Encyclopedia of Myth and Secrets. So anyways, these books were, the fact that I got all these books for $60 is just, I don't want to say it's a crime, but it just blows me away sometimes where there's just amazing, deep knowledge, wisdom, insight-filled occult books will just be like $3. I'm like, what? That book is $3? And it just always blows me away. And this was another instance of that. So I got all these books, and they're just, just sitting down, going through them. Because, they're dictionaries, encyclopedias. So it's not like there's a narrative, where it's like, and then chapter 2. It's just kind of like the entries in there. You kind of can go through the entries, and sometimes I'll specifically look up things relate to something I'm already studying or researching or learning about. And other times I'll kind of just flip through, see what I land on, and it's usually very interesting. Like, do y'all know about Sheila and the Gig? Anybody who's listening, if you know about Sheila and the Gig, I'll give you mad props. But I had no idea about Sheila and the Gig, and it's me and Ann, we're going to make shirts of Sheila and the Gig, like, yeah. Look up Sheila and the Gig. And yeah, that was out there. That used to be on churches. And then at some point they were like, oh, we can't, what? We can't have this on our church. But yeah, Sheila Nagig. Like Sheila, I mean, there's a few different ways to spell it. Like Sheila, but it's usually when I look it up, Sheela, and Nagig, like Nagig. Look it up. Look it up right now. I'll wait. Look up Sheila Nagig. Tell me you've seen that symbol before. Because you haven't. You haven't seen that on Downton Abbey. So anyways, back to the more specific reason why we're here, right? Symbolic literacy. So just like in real life, it's helpful if you know languages, right? Written language, verbal language, right? I mean, verbal language you kind of just learn, right, from just interacting with people. But written language, right? You gotta study, especially English. It's for a written language, it's kind of fucked up and weird. I listened to this whole lecture series of this linguist, and that was one of the resounding things I learned of it. It's like, English is fucking weird. Like compared to like when you really study other languages and how they're set up and their rules grammatically, English is an outlier, folks. Okay? So never get tricked into thinking English is the standard of languages, because it's not. And it's an outlier. And actually things like Ebonics is actually more in line with a lot of languages around the world in terms of how you conjugate verbs than English. So how about that? So Sheila Nagig and English being a fucked up language. That's what you've learned today, among other things. So symbolic literacy, just like you have to learn words, right? Regardless of whatever language you're learning, symbols is about that same process. And now, the funny thing about symbolic literacy is that we're always presented with symbols, but how often do we know what those symbols mean, right? For example, the swastika. You say swastika, people are like, oh my God, is he an anti-Semite? Like, what is happening? He's saying swastika? But before 1940s, swastika was a totally different other thing, right? Them Negroes just usurped it. They're not actually Negroes, they were Germans. They usurped it and repurposed it, and they rebranded swastika. And damn, they did a great job of rebranding swastika. Because again, if you say swastika, people are like, they'll just stop what they're doing and be like, what is going on? I just heard someone say swastika. Like, what? Are those neo-Nazis here? What is happening? Right? But, and this is the thing about symbols, and this is why studying symbols is very important, because then you can see why certain symbols will be used by governments, by corporations, by media, by yourself, your dreams. You'll start to further understand, like, oh, same thing with colors, right? Understanding like the color psychology, understanding the color symbolism, right? You understand, well, okay, I could see why they are using that symbol in this context based on what I know about the normal associations of that color, right? So symbolic literacy is that same process. And especially if you are a occult aspirant, right? Get into that world where you're doing tarot, you're doing occult activities, you're going to occult retreats, you're having occult buffets, you're having occult dinner parties, okay? Right? Anyways, so if you're doing those things, you definitely need to understand symbols. If you're not, listen, live your life and not understand symbols and you'll just be more confused. Say it's no water off this duck's back. Does that make sense? Anyways. But, if you're really trying to decode your reality, decode your life, understand yourself to a higher degree, you gotta fucking understand symbols, right? And without further ado, let's get to some books, because books are important, people. All right, so first book is A Dictionary of Symbols, J.E. Serlot. I don't know if that's how you say his name, but that's how I say it. I think he's French. Dictionary of Symbols, J.E. Serlot. Okay. Next, we have A Dictionary of Symbols, which it was funny looking up both those books because I was like, no, I want the one by Serlo. And they're like, do you want this one? And I was like, I do want this one too, which is The Dictionary of Symbols by Hans Biederman. Hans Biederman. But yeah, the other one kept coming up when I was looking for the other one. Wait, did I get... Oh, that's funny. Huh. I didn't realize there were two of the same book. Did I do that on purpose? I didn't realize I got two versions of this book. I got like a newer version, right? Dictionary of Symbols by J.E. Serlo, and this hardcover one. And again, even this hardcover one was like $4. So, Chelsea, when and where? When and where what? What was I saying? What, I don't get the connection. When and where? This is another one. Shout out to Barbara Walker, because I've heard about this book, a women's dictionary of this one, Sacred Objects, Symbols and Sacred Objects. I'd heard about this book for a while, and I was like, I didn't get why it was called a women's dictionary, right? Like, I didn't understand the context of that, why it was like a women's dictionary, right? And then not even reading this one, but I also got this one, which technically is not a symbolism book, but it was another book that was like $6. This is Barbara Walker, Women's Encyclopedia of Myths and Secrets. All right. But this one, man, I don't know if Barbara Walker is still kicking on Earth, but I would hang out with her. I would hang out with the old broad. I don't know how old she is, because this book is almost comical, because she kind of, in addition to kind of getting to different symbols and different mythological, things, occult retreats. That is something that's, I've wanted to do retreats for a while. But yes, that is, I kid like about occult dinner parties, but I saw something where someone online, they're talking about like, we're not professionals, like this is our lifestyle. And I like that differentiation, right? It's like, you're not like putting on your occult suit and tie or dress or jeans, right? It's your lifestyle. You're living it. You don't need to, regardless of whatever you're wearing, right? That's your lifestyle. So it's like you embody it. You don't need to put on like, oh, I'm putting my occult hat on. Oh, okay. Now we're a occult man or woman, But anyways, this book, really great book. I highly recommend it to anybody, man or woman, because the reason why it's very funny to me, this book, and funny in the most positive way, like enlightening comedy, is that, first of all, heavily researched, where, you go through an entry, like something like Lotus, right? I was reading about Lotus. Man, just that entry alone, I was like, this book paid for itself. Just reading this one entry about Lotus. And some of the other ones where it was like Mary Magdalene, that was a funny one. That's why it had me rolling, because it was just talking about all the stuff that was edited out about Mary Magdalene, like Jesus kissing her and calling her dear beloved and all this sort of stuff. And, it's not a here nor there about whatever you believe about Jesus. But the point is, she kind of gets into some patriarchal editing that has happened with, mythology, historical mythology, even occult stuff, spiritual stuff, all this sort of stuff has been edited by the patriarchy, because, it's been largely controlled by even like quote unquote the good guy patriarchy. You know what I'm saying? Like the Gnostics. I'm sure there's some female Gnostics out there, but the dude Gnostics were like, well, do we need to put that in there about that goddess? Let's put this in there. I don't know. I wasn't there. These are just my thoughts. The point is, this book does a great job of kind of just like the myths of the myth. Like, that's the way she goes. She we're not just talking about the myth. We're going to talk about stuff that was a myth in the other way, like a false truth in the mythology or in the story, right? That was edited out. So shout out to Barbara Walker. All right, another one we have. We got this one, The Secret Language of Symbols by David Fontana. Secret Language of Symbols, David Fontana. And this one, I got this one for a steal off of eBay. Person didn't know how much it was selling it for. I got it for $25, and I usually don't pay that much for books because, again, usually I get these sorts of books for $6 and stuff. So anyways, this is another one. Art and Symbols, Images and Power of Wisdom, Art and Symbols of, what does it say? Art and Symbols of the Occult, right? Art and Symbols of the Occult by James Wasserman, another great one. That one's expensive. Like, if I didn't get this deal, this one was selling for probably $50, $60, but I just happened to look it up and I was like, what? They're selling for $25? And I jumped on it immediately. But yeah, it goes a little bit more. This is another great one, Book of Signs by Rudolph Koch. This one's really interesting because it kind of goes into, just, I don't know, just like random signs, like, I don't know, what was it? They have like signs in here for like, not welders, like a stone, masons, like this is this tool, this is that tool. Interesting stuff. Then we have this one, an illustrated encyclopedia of traditional symbols by Thames and Hudson. Okay. And then if you're really trying to go for the Golden Globe, this is a book I've actually had I feel like I've had this book for like 17 years. I've literally had this book for so long, like early 2000s. Especially if you're interested in doing sacred geometry things. This is a great book. Honestly, I don't know if this dude still sells them, but you can look him up, go to his website. He might, because I feel like I looked it up very recently. Sacred Geometry Design Source Book, Universal Dimension Patterns by Bruce A. Rawls. Really cool because it kind of shows you all the different types of sacred geometry. Even kind of shows you how to make some of them. Even it's got like 3D ones you can make, like tetrahedrons and things like that. And then lastly, this is a cool book, Golden Ratio by David A. Mesmer, Gary B. Meisner, for all things Golden Ratio. So those are some books you can check out and get your symbolic literacy game on. So, again, why would we want to be symbolically literate, right? What is that word? Hexalfa? Hexalfa. We're going to look that up. We'll see if hexalfa is in this one first. Hexalfa. We're talking about hexalfa. Hexalfa. How do you spell that? It's like hex alpha. Okay, all right. No, not in this one. That's my other thick one. I don't know what that symbolic word is. Jeez, you couldn't give me frog or something, bro. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate all audience participation. Classic participation. Okay, so why do we want to be symbolically literate, folks? Well, this old hunk of coal believes that symbols are really one of the prime things in our life. You could say our existence is only symbols, right? Just a series of symbols, right? Sometimes they move. Sometimes they change forms. Sometimes they're static, but they're symbols, right? Look around wherever you are right now. Whoever is watching this, I don't care if you're watching it live or later or whatever the fuck. Look around your space. What is there, right? Especially if it's like your home environment. What is there, right? Look behind me. This is, above my altar. There's a yak. See that yak? Y'all can't see it. Well, it's on the other side. Hold on. There's a yak right there. Okay? You couldn't see my hand either. Pointing to the yak. But there's a yak, okay? Right? There's a yak over my shoulder. Why do I have a fucking yak picture? I guess yaks are cool. It's in Nepal, I believe. Just being a cool yak. But why do I have a yak? What the fuck is that about? because that yak to me symbolizes strength, groundedness, right? Power. Let's look at that yak. That yak could fuck you up. Yeah, that yak could fuck a lot of shit up. All right. So you have symbols. Either you are imbue them with some sort of understanding, some sort of, what am I looking for? The association you want with it, or you could go with a prior association. Like, let's look up yak. Let's see what this says about yaks. Because I guarantee you, although I don't often guarantee, it probably says something about what I was talking about, but it's not in here. But they probably have ox in here. Let's go with ox, because that's essentially the same thing. Let's go with ox. What? No way. I don't have ox in here. That's kind of strange, I gotta say. Yeah, no ox. Huh. Okay, we're gonna go with this one. We're gonna go to a rational man's encyclopedia. Oh, ox. Orgy. Ox. Okay. See? Sir Lowe gets it. He gets it. No, I mean, technically, again, that wasn't a symbols dictionary. That was myths and secrets. Okay, so broadly speaking, the ox is a symbol of the cosmic forces. In Egypt and in India, a more specialized symbolism was evolved for the ox, contrasting with the lion on the one hand and with the bull on the other. For obvious reasons, it became a symbol of sacrifice, suffering, patience, and labor. In Greece and Rome, it was regarded as an attribute of agriculture and of foundation laying, and so, by extension, was the yoke. Roman generals who had been granted the honor of a triumph would sacrifice white oxen to the Capitolian Jupiter as part of the ceremony. Okay. In medieval emblems, ox is frequently found symbolizing patience, submissiveness, and the spirit of self-sacrifice. Okay, see, I'm not using it in that context. Let me just tell you, I'm not using it in that context. Maybe patience, but not self-sacrifice. I don't know. So, but again, I was using a yak. So, but yaks. It's a yak. It's an ox. No, it's a yaks. So we want to be symbolically literate. And the more you study the symbols in your environment, to go back to that, the more you can kind of understand yourself. Like, what symbols do I have in my environment? Got a whole bunch of occult symbols, and those are just even symbols upon the top of symbols with symbols mixed in with the symbols, right? Those are very layered. And then, looking around, what else do I have? What's important to me, right? That'll be a huge connection to the symbols in your life. What's important to you? If you love Garfield, if Garfield was your favorite comic book, you probably have some sort of Garfield memorabilia or Garfield poster. It's like, oh, Garfield, oh man, to me, Garfield symbolizes the never-ending pursuit of lasagna or whatever the fuck, or just laziness. Like, oh, I just want to be like Garfield. He's everything I want to achieve. I want to fucking kick Odie off a table also. And, processing the symbols you already have kind of tells you about yourself. When you move in somewhere, right? What's the first thing you do? What's the first thing you bring in to your new place? Like where I moved, where I am right now, I told myself the first things I'm going to bring in are my occult items and my books, which were the first things I brought in, because those are the most important possessions I have. And I wanted to, I don't want to bring in a waffle first, like, oh, waffles are my priority is the first thing to bring in. Okay. But knowledge, practice, wisdom, insights, that is very important as the first thing I bring in, right? So even the symbolism of how we do things, or the order we do things, or the way we do things, right? But in terms of physical symbolism, right, let's just, behavioral symbolism, we could get into that later. But in terms of the symbols around us, it's studying what they represent to us. That's probably the first study. That's probably symbolism high school, right? Before you even get to 101 and 103, right? It's like, what symbols do you have around you? Like for me, chess. I love the game of chess. I enjoy playing it, except when I get beaten thoroughly in it by a 14-year-old, which happened a few summers ago. I'm still salty about it, but he was very smart. He was good. And listen, if my old 36-year-old brain, unless I was playing chess all the time, a young whippersnapper like that, listen, it's it's difficult. Especially he was good at chess also. He was smart, he was good at chess, and he was younger than me. So you put all those factors together, you got a very humiliating chess loss, which, I'd probably say 75% of chess losses are just humiliating and shameful. That's just, you do some dumb move and it's like, oh, checkmate. You're like, damn it. Like, fuck. That's chess for you. So, but chess is an important symbol with me, right? Because it's about strategy. It's about awareness, right? Seeing, not just kind of seeing a piece of the board, seeing the whole board, right? Being able to take everything in, all that data, all that information. So, there's other symbols that, for chess for me in my life. But those are some easy ones of why, and I don't know what happened to that chessboard. I really don't. I had this wooden chessboard. I had no reason to get rid of it, and I don't know where it is. And I suspect foul play, folks. Foul play. Foul play. Foul play. That chessboard didn't just disappear. A nice wooden chessboard that I'd gotten for free. Oh, I'm just going to throw that out? Yeah, sure. Anyways. So studying the symbols in your environments, right? What's an easy one that lots of people do? What's an easy symbol people put in their environment? Dreamcatcher, right? Very, very common one, right? Because what does a dream catcher symbolize? It symbolizes, you could probably say many things. Protection from evil, right? Because it's catching the bad dreams. Just positivity. It's like when you think about it, it's like dream catcher. It's like the idea that it's a filter, right? It filters out just muck. It's like, you're going to get that in your dream. Oh, nope. Dreamcatcher. Dreamcatcher is on it. Thanks, Dreamcatcher. Ding. Dreamcatcher. So studying the symbols in your environment is just extremely, extremely important. And again, I urge anybody who's here right now with me, who's just listening, stop watching me and just listen. And look around wherever you are and what symbols are around you, right? And, what do those symbols represent? Like, for example, a door. Now, a door is an object where you enter places, but what also does it symbolize? It symbolizes opportunity. It symbolizes change. It symbolizes transformation, the more you process it. There's another great book, specifically, and this kind of ties in with what I was saying about the door and symbols. It's Hypnosis Revolution by... Oh, what's that dude's name? He also has another book called Instant Self-Hypnosis. Oh, man. He's got... Forbes Blair. Robbins Forbes Blair. Or Forbes Robbins Blair. Something like that. Look up Instant Self-Hypnosis, Blair Forbes Robbins, or some combination of those three names. Anyways... So in this book, right, he has books about how to hypnotize yourself, right? And so I worked with that book for a while, and I need to get back to it because it definitely worked. So in this book, he kind of had this realization about dreams, right? Because he worked with people on dreams, right? And also he was a hypnotist. So what he found out is like, wait a minute, if in a dream this is a symbol that represents something, right? Then couldn't we do the same in our waking life with the things we encounter? So it's essentially this thing where it's like, I don't know, I was fucking with this, but I didn't, I was doing too many things at once. Like he said, like only do 1 or 2 things at a time. I was like, oh, I'm doing 30 at a time. And essentially, okay, for example, going back to the door thing, right? Every time you walk out of a door, right, you cue yourself to be like, I'm walking into new opportunities. I'm walking into love and grace, whatever. Listen, I'm walking into amazing relationship this year. You know, every time you open a door, and it's kind of training your subconscious to associate that symbolic activity, right? Turning a key, right? Unlocking new opportunities, right? You're training your subconscious mind to associate that activity with, you know, this other intention, right? And, you know, the idea is that you do that enough and then just kind of see, it's in your subconscious. And then every time you open a door, right, kind of like that program plays and you don't have to necessarily think about it. Just looking around your environments, what do the things around you mean? What does a chair mean to you? What does a bed mean to you, right? What is a floor? What is a piano? What is a doorknob? What are these things? Just look at, even before you start studying like symbols, like, ooh, let's break down, you know, the symbol of Jupiter and what that means and everything, and, you know, the how it actually looks and all that sort of stuff. Before you even get into that, just look at what's around you. Look at what you're wearing. Look at the colors you're wearing, right? Look at how you have your hair. Look at what you have in your hair. Look at what you're wearing, you know, jewelry, watches, right? What does that symbolize to you? What in your subconscious is directing that behavior, right? Is directing that symbolic activity, right? There's something. Even if it's like, I want to look fly. Well, why do you want to look fly? And then keep going from there. It's like, I want to look fly because I like when people look at me. Well, why do you like when people look at you? Because I'm insecure. You know, keep following where the symbol ends up. Where is it? You know, I wore this shirt because I like chess pieces, which is true. But, you know, I also, just kicked my desk. But, you know, I also always want to, you know, rock something chessy. Chessy? I mean, name for a child. Come here, Chessy. It's like Jesse, but Chessy. Chessy Knight. Or Chessy Rook. That'd be that'd be the middle name. Yeah. Chessy Rook Knight. Chessy Rook board, get over here. Oh shit, I'm in trouble. Chessy Rook board. Oh boy. Chessy, come in for chess. Sure. So, just studying the symbols in your direct environments is going to assist you, because guess what, fucking folks? Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Guess what, everybody? Seriously, guess what? Guess what? Did you guess yet? Guess what? Guess what, folks? Guess what? Your environments, guess what? Your environments and the symbols around you can tell you a lot about yourself. If you never thought about it. If you never thought about, like, well, why do I have 19 Kermit the Frogs in my bedroom? Well, there's probably something there. Look up frogs. Look up frog symbolism. You know? And even the Kermit the Frog, right? That archetypal character. What does that character symbolize for you? I don't care what the fuck, if you go on Wikipedia, what it says about Kermit the Frog. For you! What does it symbolize? Right? What does that character symbolize to you? A good example, Groot. Who doesn't love fucking Groot? What does Groot symbolize? What does Groot symbolize, folks? Groot symbolizes protection, right? Defense, right? Groot is always, he's looking out for homies, right? But maybe for Groot, for you, in addition to that, which is kind of like it's kind of like this is a funny reference to make, but it's kind of like pharmaceutical drugs. It's like this is the label use, right? This is how the archetype is drawn up, right, symbolically. And then, if you want to use Groot because it represents your love of trees, fucking go for it, right? You can ascribe symbolic literacy, but also you can go with whatever the book definition is. But this is why it gets funny and tricky. You can't say, oh, this is that in totality, right? Because once you really start cross-referencing, and this is why, the Barbara Walker books are really great because they're very well thoroughly researched from numerous sources about just one topic, right? Probably for Lotus in here, there's probably, 10 or 12 sources about different cultures talking about Lotus and what the symbolism was and what the significance was and how it was used and blah, 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 blah. So it's, it can be different depending on the culture glasses you look through. Rituals. Oh, this is interesting. Huh. Wait, this is organized. Okay, this is kind of cool. Okay, I didn't realize this. So this book, it kind of organizes them by themes, right? So there's, round and oval motifs, long motifs, three-way motifs, multi-pointed motifs, four-way motifs, rituals, sacred objects, secular sacred objects, deity signs, zodiac, body parts, supernaturals, nature, animals, birds, insects, flowers, plants, trees, minerals, stones, and shells, fruit and foodstuffs, and sluts. So yeah, it's kind of cool. It's kind of broken up that way. You got your classic Mercury symbol, right? Right, then you got stuff like this, which is Leviathan, macabre, mermaids, but yeah, you can see the origin of things. By the way, here's interesting insight I learned. The word mascot, mascot for a sports team, the original, what that originally means. I'm going to read that entry, but now I need to figure out what book that was. I'm going to think it's Sir Low. No, it wasn't Sir Low. It wasn't that one. This is where it gets tricky, folks. It might have been Barbarous. Let's look it up. But I just laughed out loud when I read this. I just laughed loud. Laughed loud. I was laughing loud. Laughing loud. Laughing loud. Laughing loud. Laughing loud. Mascot. Yes. Okay, so here we go. So mascot, let's just have it over here. Originally a familiar spirit in animal form, like a witch's traditional black cat or black dog. So my interest is already peaked. I was like, oh, word? Then this is where it's like, oh, this is hilarious. Mascato meant witchcraft, from Provençal French masco, a sorceress, i.e. a masked one. The mascot of pagan totemic clan was its animal mask worn on ceremonial occasions. By Christian definition, this became an animal-headed demon. So there's a lot to unpack there. So the next time you are cheering for a mascot, remember, in Christianity, they consider that animal had a demon, or also a sorceress. So it's a little fun facts for you. So anyway, so studying the symbols in your life, right? What you wear, what you put around yourself, right? Even the type of car you drive. Just think about that sort of symbol, right? And what that represents, and what I guess you could say, why that symbol? Why did I choose to wear this shirt that I made, by the way? Why did I choose to wear this shirt that I made that has chess pieces on it? Well, you could say it was the next shirt on the shirt pile. I also went to the gym, and, I usually will just wear these to the gym. There's a lot of things, but symbolically, I would say that's usually going to be a huge driver of our behavior, right? Is the symbols we want to embody, the symbols we want to imbue, the symbols we want to show to others. Hey, look at me. This is my symbol I'm embodying. Woo! Right? Even like having hair like this. What symbol am I looking for? Am I going for? I don't know. We don't have to get into that. That's my own personal journey symbolically, okay? Stop worrying about my symbolic journey, folks, okay? Don't worry about my symbolism. Worry about your symbolism in your life, okay? Anyways, you just say the symbols in your own life. What do you surround yourself with? What are you wearing right now? If you're wearing anything rare. Shout out to everybody who watches Instagram lives or YouTube lives or Facebook lives completely butt-ass naked. We appreciate you out here in the streets, living your best life, watching lives naked. So, you have to really understand the symbols of your environment and really process the value that they bring to your life or don't bring. Right. And, occult study is really just a study of symbols, right? Because you're manipulating symbols that represent something to manifest some other symbols that represent something. And, round and round we go. It's all about symbols, baby. It's all about symbols, baby. So just study the symbols around you. Just study the symbols around you. And really ask yourself fucking questions like, yeah, why do I wear fucking blue shirts all the time? What the fuck is up about that? And if you haven't studied like color symbolism, and actually even let's look up that. Well, no, actually it might not be in there. Let's look in this one. Why do I wear blue shirts all the time? Because I realize I wear a lot of black shirts, and I consciously have to, I'm working on, clitoris. What? Apparently, see here, little fun facts you get. Clitoris from Greek, kleit, like kleit Taurus, like Kleitoris, which means divine, famous, goddess-like. So I could use that as a compliment to someone now. Like, you know what? You're just really clitoris. Just like you got this like kind of glow going where it's just so clitoris that it's just wow. It's just wow. It's just like the clitoris energy you're just like showered me with is just so powerful. I just love it. And this is why it's also interesting studying symbols and obviously the words connected with the symbols, because then when you get other versions of the words, other versions of the symbols in terms of language, a lot of times there's just a funny joke going on there, especially in terms of what the symbol is and what the word is now. Listen, at somewhere along the line, I don't know when these people working on these symbols and working on these words just turn into comedians, but goddamn, sometimes it's really funny, especially when you study kind of words and symbols and kind of how they change and evolve. You know what I'm saying? Like that was what Kleit Taurus originally meant, divine, famous, goddess-like. Listen, I just want to meet a woman who imbues those qualities. You know what I'm saying? Let alone do anything with her clitoris, So Greek myth personified the phallus as Priapus and the clitoris as Amazon queen named Cleiete, ancestral mother of the Cleiete, a tribe warrior woman who founded a city in Italy. In Corinth, Cleiete was a princess whom artists made grow tall and strong, an allegory of her erection. Or again, she was a nymph who loved the phallus of the sun god and always followed his motion with her head, a transparently sexual metaphor. And Bowdlerized version of the story, I've Bowdlerized, never heard that word before. Bowdlerized, Bowdlerized, Bowdlerized. Okay. And then a Bowdlerized version of the story, she was transformed into a sunflower, turning to follow the motion of the sun across the sky. So that's not what we came to look up. What were we looking up? I got so thrown up by clitoris. I was like, there's an entry for clitoris? Huh? I don't remember what it was. Anyways, maybe it'll come back to me. Let's have some water, though, folks. So, just kind of understanding the symbols in your life is crucial, because then you can kind of see what you got going on and see what's kind of happening. You know, you can see just how you're operating. You know, you'll be able to see your behavior in a different way based on the symbols you do. Even when you go to the grocery store, what do you usually buy? If you're not buying getting something specific, and you just kind of just a usual, okay, I need to go grocery shopping and get all the staples. What the fuck are your staples? And what do those staples represent and symbolize in your world and reality? Get an apple. What does that symbolize to you? Is it health? Is it sweetness? Is it keeping the fucking doctor and dentist away? Those fucking sluts. Goddamn dentist doctors. Why can't doctors just be also dentists? Just get everything done in one visit. You know, maybe some people don't want to do that because that could be a lot. But, you know, it's like, oh, you go talk to your doctor. Hey, what's up, asshole? And then you go to the dentist and, hey, what's up, other asshole? No, we kind of appreciate doctors. I appreciate dentists more than I appreciate doctors. It's like, that's like, doctor, do I need a doctor? I'd say I don't need a doctor. I can take care of myself. But teeth, I kind of want someone on top of my teeth. You know, my body, I'll take care of that. You know, I'll exercise. I will eat right. I will do the things I need to do. I'll do my qigongs and yogas. But teeth, I'll floss and brush, but can someone else look at them too and just make sure? You know, but, you know, you could say same thing about teeth, you know, but, I don't know. I feel I need more assistance with teeth than I do my body. I know what I need to do with my body. It's not a surprise to me. It's not any sort of mystery. I don't know what I need to do. Now, do I do it all the time? That's always the challenge, folks, is doing the things we need to do. It's not knowing what we need to do. It's doing the things we need to do. So, just like symbolic literacy. Are you going to be symbolically illiterate? See, people wonder why. That's a weird way of putting it. That's not. People. No, I mean, in addition to being able to study yourself to a higher degree, you'll be able to study reality to a higher degree, right? Because there are certain symbols that kind of are intercultural, or kind of, what's the word? Go beyond specific cultures, right? But there's certain ones that are very localized to certain cultures, you know? So if you really dive in, you could go somewhere and, you know, like, oh yeah, like let's say you meet a Vietnamese woman and, you know, you're dating her. And you're like, what are important symbols for Vietnamese women or for Vietnamese people, right? Maybe you get her a gift based on the symbol, where if you had no, impetus, is that the word, to be like, what are the symbols in Vietnamese, right? Like, what is their flower? I'm sure, there's probably lots of flowers in Vietnam, but what is, like, if you want to get someone a nice gift and they're Vietnamese or they're from Vietnam, it's like you get them a blank flower. Like, that's the one. Like, like housewarming. You bring them a whatever flower. Right. And it could be very specific to their culture. Right here, it's like pineapples. I never got the housewarming pineapple thing. But that's an interesting thing. Because if you notice, like, even some like door knockers on doors will be a pineapple. Never got the pineapple thing. I don't want that as a housewarming thing. I always subscribe to the bread, oil, salt. That's the housewarming gift. Bread, so you never go hungry. Salt, so your food always has seasoning. Oil, I forget why oil, right? But again, symbolism, right? It's not that you're just giving someone who moved into their new home bread and salt and fucking oil, right? That's a nice gesture too, but it's the intention, it's the symbolism, right? What I say, the salt is that your life always has seasoning, right? The bread is that you never go hungry, and the oil is that things are smooth. I don't know. I forget what the oil stands for, but you can look that up. But it's like a traditional housewarming gift. I don't know, from Ireland or some shit. But yeah, that's, there's certain symbolism behind it. It's not just about giving bread, oil, and salt. Okay. It's a symbolism that represents, right, the intention behind it. And that's what symbols are, right? There are images, right? They could be anything, but let's just say they're images, right? They're objects that have a certain intention behind them, right? You could say definition, but I think intention is a kind of hits it more on the head about what it is. So these objects, sacred objects, mundane objects, your favorite teddy bear, your blankie you still have in a hermetically sealed case above your bed that your girlfriend wonders, why does he still have that blanket from when he was 5? That's kind of weird, but you're working through it, right? You're talking about it with your mental health counselor. You know what I'm saying? You're working through it, right? Sure. Not many people have stuffed animals and blankies and hermetically sealed boxes above their bed, right? Their bed that they make love with their girlfriend in. That's a little weird. That's a little strange, but you're working through it, okay? That's the most important part. You're working through it, right? And that working through it involves space brats, right? There's normal brats, right? You tie them up, you do whatever. Then there's space brats. And you kind of have to like restrain them in a space way, space handcuffs, space brats. It gets wild, folks. It gets wild. Anyways, so in addition to restraining space brats, you also need to study your life symbols. All right, this is enough already. People. And because I semi-like people, I'm going to go through the books again. Just so you got no excuses. Just so, I missed the books. I don't know what books he's talking about. I'm going to go through them again. Okay? All right? Stop making excuses. Stop. Hey. Stop making excuses. Yeah. You. And I'm saying this, I'm looking at her myself as I'm doing this video. So, yeah, me too. Excuses. You know what David Goggins says about excuses? I don't know specifically, but I'm sure if you type in David Goggins excuses into YouTube, you'll be rewarded with some interesting insights and videos. Shout out to David Goggins. That's my guy. Because he's like an occultist that's not an occultist. And what I mean by that is he did occult things with his mind, but like not in a directly occult way. He kind of just like was like, oh, okay, we're doing this now, and reprogrammed himself into a David Goggins fucking 9.0 or some shit. So, in conclusion, What symbols are in your environment? What symbols are in your reality? What symbols mean a lot to you? What symbols do you value? What symbols do you reject? What symbols do you find disgusting? What symbols do you find endearing? What symbols do you find comforting, pleasuring? Study the symbols in your mind, in your heart, in your world, in your reality, in your office, in between your toes, in your fucking butthole. Study all the fucking symbols you can, because you will understand your reality to a higher degree. And like Lao Tzu says, I believe it was him, you can understand the world without ever leaving your home. Yeah. You can understand the world without ever leaving your home, because you're understanding yourself. And what are you? You're the world. What? You're a macrocosm of the world, you fool. I say fool in the most positive way. Fool as in you're lighthearted and gay. And not gay as in gay, but gay as in free. You're gay and carefree. I'm not gay. Fuck you, nigga. I'm straight as an arrow. No, not that gay. No, but still, I just want to make that clear. Just in case there's any other rumors in the streets. That was the other gay. Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your service. That was not a military reference. I was saying thank you for your service of declaring that you're straight as an arrow. Broken Arrow, the movie. Classic. And Face Off. We need to have a Face Off and Broken Arrow marathon. I think it's time. I mean, no one's probably ever said those words, ever. Like, you know what we need a marathon of? Marathon. Doesn't that imply that I'm going to just play it nonstop for like 24 hours? I mean, just not a marathon. Well, no, actually, we'll play it like 4 times in a row. Because I feel like when it gets to the 4th time, then it's like, yo, that's when it starts hitting. When you watch Broken Arrow for the 4th time in a row, I've only done it 3 times in a row. So I'm waiting on that 4th time. But I feel when I do for this marathon, man, it hits. It hits. It just hits. It just hits. I am not paid for by the production companies of Broken Arrow or, what was the other one? Face Off. I feel like Broken Arrow and Face Off, they're like the same movie. Aren't they? Broken Arrow, Face Off, same shit. Right? You know, I mean, they're the same shit. All right, let's wrap this buttercup up. So, in studying one's symbols, you must study the symbols of your own life. Like dream symbols. Oh, man. Just starting there. What symbols are in your dreams? Because there's a message there for you. There's a message there for you. Like a recurring theme in my dreams. Dream themes. New mixtape. Is parties, right? So many dreams I've had have involved a party. And it's funny because, you know, I'm a Leo and it's like, I don't know. What is this shit? I always forget where it's like every day of the year has it's like a symbolic visual tied to it. There's a certain name for it. And mine, it was like a houseboat party or some shit. And I was like, yo, that's fucking badass. It's not only as a party, but it's a houseboat party. That's so cool. That's so cool. That's like so cool. That's like a houseboat party. That's like so cool. It's like so cool. So cool. So cool. So just studying these symbols that you're exposed to, you know, and hey, you can get in these books. It helps too, because then maybe you're into dogs. Well, it sounds like someone who's just sexually attracted to dogs, which they're out there. Hey, maybe you're sexually attracted to dogs and you want to see the symbolism throughout cultures about dogs. Hey, I don't judge here, but I don't know. Maybe see what that's about. Maybe see what that's about. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Don't keep doing shit with dogs, you know what I'm saying, without kind of exploring. You know, that's why it's like any kinky shit I'm in too. You know, sexually, that even if I haven't done it, I'm like, well, I would do that with somebody. You know, I always like, well, what is about that? What is that about that? You know, like that symbol, again, bring it back to symbols. That symbol of that activity, that sexual activity. What does that represent to me? Why do I resonate with it? What's going on? Why do I want to restrain space brats? You know? Well, first of all, because it's like space brats are the best brats. Secondly, they're restrained space brats. So it's like, that's what you want people, right? They can't just be moving around on their own accord. And obviously they want to be restrained, folks. Like, don't look at me like that. Like I'm some sort of criminal. Because yes, every once in a while, space brats hit me up and they're like, hey, we want to be restrained in a sexual manner. And I say, all right, thank you. This is the best Thursday ever. So, space brats. That was the whole point of this whole video. Actually, this is a big promotion for my new Space Brats agency. So, symbolic literacy, whatever. Who cares about that? Space Brats. That's what it's all, the whole time. The whole past hour has literally just been leading up to me talking more about Space Brats. So next time you're wondering what symbols are, you'll know. Space Brats. So yeah, thank you. You're welcome. Anyways, I'll go through these books again because you should know things. Okay, Dictionary of Symbols by G.E. Serlot. I think that's how you say his name. He's possibly French, possibly not French. Then we got Women's Dictionary, Barbara Walker. Women's Dictionary of Sacred or Symbols and Sacred Objects. We out here, Barbara Walker gang. You know what I'm saying? Again, didn't realize. I think maybe I put one. I think that's what happened. I put one in my cart, and then I found a cheaper version of it, and I just didn't take the other one out. And again, they were like $4. So, it wasn't like I was like, why is it still so much? It was like $4 extra. I was not going to notice. So yeah, this is another one, got the hardcover too, you know what I'm saying? And the soft cover one, it's a little bit newer. So, there could be things that aren't in there because the hardcover one looks a little bit thicker, but it could be different font too. Okay, so we got this one. We got Dictionary of Symbolism by Hans Biederman. Another great one. Like turtle. Were we talking about turtles before? I don't think we were. Oh, frogs. Turtle. For the psychologist, a symbol of quiet strength and the possibility of taking refuge from any external attack. It retains about it something of the age-old hush of life, constantly able to withdraw into itself at the approach of danger. The turtle plays a role, for example, in the highly symbolic novel Momo by Michael Ende. In ancient cosmology, we find mention of the primordial, Ao, a sea turtle of cosmic dimensions. It carries the world on its back. Stone sculptures of turtles with armored backs were believed to preserve the stability of the cosmos. They were said to be Ao Shan, or Ao Mountain, on the islands of the blessed. Ao itself was said to be a fire eater, and Ao figure on the roof was thought to protect a house against fire. See? Symbolism, right? So if someone moved into a house, right, and they were of Chinese origin, right, and, they ascribe to traditional Chinese symbols, and you got them a AO figure to put on top of their house, they'd probably be like, oh shit, good looking out. Like, yeah, like, fuck yeah, protect our house from fire. They'd be with it. Or maybe not. They'd be like, why'd you buy me a turtle? Like, we're like 5th generation. Like, what? AO? What are you talking about? Go both ways, but I feel like if they're rooted in their traditional symbolism, they'd fuck with it. Ao is one of the 5 sacred animals specifically associated with the north, water, and winter. In the earliest periods of Chinese symbolization, bits of a turtle shell were used in augury, apparently because the number of peripheral sections correspond to the number of divisions in the agrarian calendar. Because of the great age it attained, the turtle served as a symbol for longevity. Because of its imperviousness to attack, as a symbol for universal order which nothing could dislodge. At the same time, the turtle also had negative association. It was believed that all turtles, kui, were female and that they could reproduce only by mating with snakes, and that they had no sense of shame. Okay. The positive associations, however, were predominant. And there's more, but I'm not getting into that. So, you see why this stuff, especially if you have certain things you're interested in, you could take it up another notch. It's like, yo, this is why I've been having turtles around, because they're fucking longevity and shit. Wow, here, turtle gang, you know what I'm saying? Yo, longevity, yo, you see turtle gang out here? Yo, longevity. Okay? And I guess, again, this one is really good. It's not technically a symbolic book, but it's a great book. A lot of great entries. Barbara Walker, again, The Woman's Encyclopedia of Myths and Secrets. Great book. Then we have The Secret Language of Symbols by David Fontana. Yes. Secret Language of Symbols, David Fontana. And we have James Wasserman, Art and Symbols of the Occult. Art and Symbols of the Occult by James Wasserman. And we have Rudolph Koch, Book of Signs. And lastly, we have an illustrated Encyclopedia of Symbols by Thames and Hudson. All right. So go out there, be symbolically literate or not, but this is your PSA of studying the symbols in your life, because, well, whatever, it doesn't even matter, because study your fucking symbols. All right, I'm off to find space brats. See what I did there, folks? If you're a space brat, please hit me up. All right.